let's get the thoughts of somebody who has been in some of these incredibly intense matchups, someone who's won 7 NBA championships, and that, of course, is Robert Horry, who joins us on behalf of Bet Online. Check out Bet Online for up-to-date NBA Finals and conference odds, along with first-round series prices, game lines, and props for each and every game. Robert, it's Maggie and Perloff in New York. Thanks so much for the time today. How are you?
I am good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic, and we're talking about Draymond and Sabonis from last night. So from your vantage point, right, was this like crossing the line from Draymond?
I thought I was watching Stone Cold Steve Austin will stomp you down, man. But, the thing is, every guy's had their leg grabbed and played basketball. You don't snatch it up and just do a stomp on a dude, man. I think he crossed the line when he did that. You can pull your leg out or you can, reach down and move it, but you don't just jump up blatantly and just stomp on a guy like that. And I know Draymond has a lot of antics, but that, to me, and being in situations like that, I've actually had my leg grabbed like that, and I reach down and I punch the guy in the shoulder to make him let go of my leg. But, it's things like that happen. But that, to me, it was a little excessive.
I understand it was excessive, but does Draymond kind of need to do that? Isn't that part of his role in the Warriors, to get everybody fired up and to go out there and cause trouble?
Not like that. You're too important, especially when you suck on the road as a team and you in the playoffs, and now you risk of getting suspended for another game. And it's just too many things at stake. Cooler heads prevail. I look at the Denver game when Slow-Mo put an elbow on the guy, the rookie, I can't remember his name, and he just backed up. And think about it. That's a guy who's never been in the playoffs before, and you got Draymond, who's won 4 championships, been in the playoffs in every situation. When he reacts like that, you got to know what's at stake here. You got to put your team before your emotions.
Robert Horry joining us on behalf of Bet Online. Would you want to be teammates with someone like Draymond? Would you, or not someone like him? Would you want to be teammates with Draymond?
I like his energy and enthusiasm on the court, but there'd be a point where I have to tell him to shut up, because I think sometimes you can get your emotions to get involved and you can do things to fire teams up. And it's hard to play with guys like that. I played with volatile guys like Vernon Maxwell before, but Vernon knew what was more important to us. He might have some moments, but he always put us first. And I think sometimes Draymond lets himself become before the team.
Robert, if the Warriors lose this series to the Kings, should Draymond Green be blamed for it?
No. The Warriors are just getting outworked right now. If you look at what Brown had, how he has coached his young team and the way they had developed, it reminds me of how Mark Jackson did the Golden State Warriors. Got them all ready, and all of a sudden then the coach gets fired. The next thing you know, coach steps in and wins the championship. And I'm not saying Sacramento's winning the championship. I'm just saying the things that the organization, Luke Walton, did last year to prepare them for this season has come into fruition. And so if you look at the way those guys are playing together and they're playing for one another, and with the addition of Malik Monk, they're just playing awesome right now. So I just think that the better team is winning. People always look at, this is a championship team, a championship caliber team, but 2 things happen. You get older, and the other team gets hungrier. And that's what's happening to the Golden State Warriors.
We're talking to Robert Horry, 7-time NBA champion, Lakers analyst. Now, obviously, we want to talk about older teams. LeBron James is getting kind of old. I don't know. We're here in New York, actually. I don't know if you've heard this sort of national buzz, but it seems like everyone now thinks there's a window for the Lakers to come out of the West, not just win the series, but have a lot of success moving forward. Are you feeling that sort of energy in L.A., and do you think it's possible?
I think it's extremely possible, because when you get guys that come off that bench each and every night, they step up, and you don't know who's going to step up, and you got AD, who's could be arguably one of the best players in this league if he can stay healthy, and you got LeBron, who is still one of the best players in the league, playing 20 years in the league. And I think you got that combination. It's hard to beat a team like that, and if they can just stay healthy, which is the biggest thing for them, and beat teams and get some rest within a series, they're fine. Right now the NBA has played into their favor. Think about it. Most guys played either yesterday or they're playing today. They got 2 games before their next game, so that allows an older veteran team to get more rest and come out and play a lot more energy.
Robert Horry is our guest. He's joining us on behalf of Bet Online. Check out Bet Online for up-to-date NBA Finals and conference odds. Robert, what is LeBron James's role in these playoffs? Like, how would you define it as opposed to years before?
I think his role is to be an analyst. And what I mean by that is you need to analyze the situation and do what the team is needing. Because you watch him last game, he didn't need to do much. Just run the court because you had Rui who stepped up, you had Reeves who stepped up. And when you got guys like that that can step up, that takes a load off of you. And for LeBron, sometimes he goes out and tries to carry a team. And when you got those guys out there making shots, making plays, he doesn't have to carry the load. So that makes him a little bit fresher for the next game. So when he got, I love the fact that he just sat back and said, okay, these guys are cooking. I'm not going to try to take over. He got off the ball. He did things of that nature to make everybody else, do their thing on the court because they was rolling. And I think that's when you watch him in the past, he would probably say, okay, I need to get mine. But now he's like, okay, I'll sit back and rest now. Do your thing, young fella. So he has matured, and he analyzed the situation and knows that he doesn't have to do everything all the time.
But say there's a game where Rui Hachimura is not red hot and other guys don't step up. Can LeBron score 40 in a night and lead the Lakers if that's the role he sees that he has to play?
Yeah, if he has to score 40, yes. That means he's going to get downhill. He's going to put those guys on their heels and try to get them in foul trouble. The good thing about when you have a guy like AD who can shoot from the outside, that can pull the defensive player of the year, Triple J out, and then LeBron can get in and, get some layups or dunk on some people and do some things of that nature. So it's always good when you got guys who can shoot like AD and allows LeBron to get to the hole and do things like overpower people with his strength.
Robert Horry is our guest, the 7-time NBA champion, on behalf of Bet Online. And obviously for Memphis, we'll still wait and see what's going on with Ja Morant. But, Robert, it's funny because they talk about, Memphis, they have this great record even when Ja Morant doesn't play. But how does that change in the playoffs? Like, it doesn't seem right to me to say, let's take their best player off the court, don't worry, they'll be fine. That doesn't sound right to me.
No, it doesn't sound right because you think about it, Lakers are 2-1 this year against the Grizzlies, and the last game they won because Ja had like 30 points on the Lakers, and you got to think about that. Certain guys have the advantage, and Ja has the advantage when he goes against the Lakers. He's so athletic, he can get to the paint. Even though the Lakers have good guys who can guard them, but Ja is just an exceptional athlete where he can just leap over guys, blow by guys with his speed. So without him on the court, it makes it very difficult for the guys to score because if you look at those guys like Bane, and he needs him to penetrate and kick so he can get his shots off. So those are key things and vital issues that are missing when Ja's not in the game.
All right, Robert, full disclosure, I'm a Sixers fan. I just have to get that out.
Surprised you took 9 minutes to get you there.
So,
ain't nothing wrong with that. I used to be a Sixers fan, too.
Oh, awesome. Growing up. So, Joel Embiid, MVP, I think it's probably going to happen this year. But it seems to me, unlike when you played, the centers have great regular season numbers, but don't seem to be able to win titles. I mean, you won with some of the greatest big men of all time. What has changed in the league? Is Joel going to be able to get a title? Is Joker going to be able to win one? Or is it really not in the cards for big-time centers to win titles?
Well, if you really look at it, people always say that, but if you think about it, there's only been one team that has won a championship in the last 20 years without a dominant big man. That's been the Golden State Warriors. So now everybody wants to put their formula to look like Golden State Warriors shoot threes, which is stupid to me because you look at Giannis won it, Dream won it, Shaq won it. All these guys, you think about there have been bigs. When I say bigs, guys over 6'9", 6'10", that could do a little bit of everything, they won the championships. And you look at, everybody says, okay, we got to shoot threes like Steph. No, you just happen to win it. Even though, Cleveland won it with LeBron, but LeBron is like a big. But I think with the Sixers, they have a golden opportunity to win it because the way Embiid is playing, I think he should have won MVP 2 years ago. But the way he is playing has just been above and beyond a lot of the way a lot of guys can play in this league. And when you got someone you cannot stop inside and out, you're in trouble.
Robert, just a few more for you. And again, thanks for making the time for us today on behalf of Bet Online. So you mentioned the Warriors are kind of the outlier, but it's so recent in our mind because they've had this dynasty, and they've been so good over the past few years. But do you think the Warriors dynasty is over?
You know what? I don't know if it's over, but I just look at the dynasty. Everybody thinks it's Steph, but I think it's all about Clay. I just think because Clay was that lockdown defender, he was that guy who can get his shot anywhere he wanted to. Now, because of all the injuries, he's slowed down. Now that Draymond is older and he's slowed down, Steph could be Steph. But Steph can't be Steph if those other two guys don't do what they need to do. And I just think, I'm a huge Clay fan. I hate it when he got injured because he was a guy who could do it on both ends of the floor. I just think now that, he can't guard the best perimeter, and sometimes now, Steph has to, it put more pressure on Steph. So it's just going to be hard for those guys to get back up there. But the key is if they can get some rest and get their legs back on them, because if you look at the way the Kings played, man, they just ran them up and down the court. Even though they kept it close, the Kings were in their flow. The way they wanted, the pace of the game was in their favor.
Robert Horry, it's always great when we get to catch up with you, Robert. Thank you so much on behalf of Bet Online. You got to check out Bet Online for up-to-date NBA Finals and conference odds, along with first-round series prices, game lines, and props for each and every game. Hope to catch up with you again soon, Robert. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.